Are you like me and struggle to get really big projects done? Now I'm talking about projects that don't have a deadline. These are projects that just have, tons of different things, moving pieces, that sort of thing, but there's no deadline. I myself have had at least 2 big projects on my to-do list for a very long time. And so one has been, I think at the beginning of the year, I wanted to start tackling it. Haven't actually started chipping away at it until very recently. The other one was probably about like a year and a half ago, and I haven't made any progress on that one. And they're both projects that I do want to do, but they're also very boring projects. So it's like this mix of boring, but like I still want to do them. And I just haven't been able to get them off my to-do list. And I'm just so tired of seeing them on there. And so because I'm tired of it, I'm just trying to just dedicate getting them done. And so one, making this video, sharing about it is going to kind of give me some accountability. But 2, I've also been thinking about okay, why is it so easy for me to do other things in my life? And it all comes down to deadlines. If I don't have deadlines, it's just not going to get done. And that's why these projects haven't been, that's why they've been sitting there for so long. So YouTube right now is a very new thing for me. And even though I'm still new at it and videos aren't good right now and I don't have topic ideas all the time, like this one right now just popped into my brain right now. Even though YouTube for me is so sporadic and so new, I've been sticking with it because I've given myself a deadline of at least try and put out 1 video a week. That's it. Just 1 video a week. And I've stuck with it so far for the most part. Now, do I record and publish in one day? No, but I at least try and get 1 video out a week. So that's been helpful, especially with how hard YouTube has been for me. But giving myself that deadline has been helpful. Now I'm a photographer, so I do weddings and portraits, and being able to get through editing and all that isn't necessarily anything I enjoy doing. And so I will put it off until the last minute for the most part. But I always get it out within the deadline. Now I have a deadline that I give my clients of, hey, it'll definitely be they'll definitely be ready by this point. But I give myself a personal deadline. So I try and give myself a little bit of a break afterwards. So that way, I'm not jumping into editing and all that right away necessarily, unless it's something I'm super, super excited about. But I like to be able to step away from it just a little bit to kind of detach myself from the emotions and excitement and kind of have fresh eyes. So I'll usually step back for a little bit and then I'll go in and start tackling the editing. And so I usually give myself a deadline within a week or 2 after that break period. So usually within 3 weeks, I try and have it all done. But according to my clients, it could take up to 8 weeks. So I still give myself that cushion time as well. But I've never done that. And so even with client work and deadlines and all that, been able to get it done. But these other projects, I just haven't been able to chip away at. And so I wanted to share with you my plan. I'm not saying that this is going to work. I'm not saying that this is the end-all be-all solution, but I wanted to share how I'm going to use Todoist to try and get these projects done. So this is my today view. I break it down based on labels. And so these little headlines right here are the labels that I've given for each type of project. And I structure it in a way that shows me typically how I want to navigate my day. Essentially, it shows me all the things that I'm supposed to get done that day. And so, for instance, this one right here, this is one of those projects. I've scheduled it in. And so, this project right here, I haven't done anything necessarily because it's just had no due date or anything like that. So my plan is to start scheduling them onto my calendar so that way when I go to my home view, I can see all the different things that I need to get done that day. And all these filters over here are just different types of work that I need to take care of. Initially, like my plan was, okay, I'll tackle this work when I can. And so I'll just dive into that filter and it'll show me that type of work that I can do that day. And obviously it hasn't worked for the projects. And so I'm going to start hopefully scheduling them out. So this one right here actually really isn't too big of a project. It's just a little like time consuming and that sort of thing. Especially with the way I'm approaching it. But I'm actually really excited about this because it's updating my work and all that. Now, the other one is like the not so fun one, but I'm super excited. So initially, let me see if I can find it. So I had a filter called backlog. Hadn't been touching it. Sorry. Okay. So here's like the list. It's just a lot of blog posts that I'm trying to transfer over. So I was initially using a service called Narrative to host the images on my blog. But since then, the gallery delivery service that I use called PickTime had launched a way for you to make blog posts within their service. So I was like, cool, like I'm already like all in on PickTime. This is what I use. I love it. Why am I going to be paying for two different services? Now, you would think that like after a year and a half, I would have already done it and been like, oh, you know, those hundreds of dollars that I was paying, I could have been saving that. No, like I didn't. And so I genuinely do want to like get these blog posts switched over to PickTime. That way I can cancel Narrative and save myself some money. So it's not necessarily a fun project, but it's just like sat in here for a long time called backlog. And my approach to it now is to give it a deadline. And it didn't really pop into my head to start doing this until Todoist launched their calendar views and stuff. I believe it's only on premium accounts. So if you are a Todoist user and don't have it, you do have to switch to a premium account, which in my view, it's super affordable. I think it's like $30 a year. Nonetheless, so what I've done is I've just like started to try and like do 1 to maybe 2 a week. Now, the way I calculate it is if I stick to that sort of schedule, I'll have it done sometime next year. But I just kind of like started laying it out like on days where I think I'll be able to tackle them. And so like it's super easy because like these over here on this side, they don't have a date, but you just take that thing and you just put it onto a date. And you can kind of like move them around. Now, the only thing, I'm gonna move this back because I'm not ready to schedule that far in advance. I don't like to schedule too far in advance for myself because my brain just doesn't know how to function like that. One thing that I do wish that Todoist had is the way to view your calendar events within filters. So this is a filtered view that I've created, and it's a super simple one just called blog posts. Well, it's showing the project called blog posts. So it's super simple. But within filter views, you're unable to see calendar events like you can in the Today view. So that's the only thing that I wish it had. But my overall plan is just to start scheduling these things out. Now, as it's starting to come up and I'm starting to see things in the upcoming view and I'm looking at it based on what's on my calendar that day, I can make the decision of, do I postpone it to another day? Because if it's just not actually possible for me to do it, like maybe I've got a wedding that day, I'm not going to sit and work on a blog post on the day I've got a wedding. So that's my plan right now, is to kind of like give myself these little deadlines of when to do it. And another thing too is like, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind for me. And so if I'm constantly like seeing these things of, just these different blog posts that I need to be working on, it's another reminder rather than me looking at the backlog filter and being like, I got to do that. So I feel like it's going to give me a little bit more of like a kick in the butt to get this done, because it's going to be in my view and it's going to be on my calendar. And then from there, I can go in and actually time block it onto the day if I wind up doing it that day. So that's essentially my plan. I don't know if it's going to work, but I think it's going to, honestly. There's just no way that I'm going to tackle something that I don't really want to do if there's no due date. So I'm gonna give this a try. If this is something you're struggling with, I wouldn't say, like, if you're not a Todoist user, this is still something that you can still, try out. Whether it's just scheduling it onto your calendar, as an event, that way, or if you use another to-do app or whatever. But if you're like me and struggle to get projects done without a deadline, give this a shot and see how it works for you. I will try and report back if it is working, and let you know how it's going. But yeah, I hope to get these projects done, and I actually scheduled some time in to get my other project worked on a little bit today. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish it today. I was working on it yesterday and the day before, and a little bit this week, but yeah, I'm hoping that I will be able to report back and let you know if it has worked. That's it for today. Just wanted to share that with you. Hope you get a little bit out of it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.